Hi there, my name is Trudy, One Grounded Angel, and I'm reading some angel cards for you for the week starting Monday the 7th of September through to the 13th of September 2020. So if you're not familiar with angel cards, they are messages from our guardian angels designed to help us make great decisions, help us understand what it is we need to learn in a particular situation, really to shine a light on what's going on. Monday's card here is TikTok. Fantastic illustration here. So the idea of time is a big one. It could be showing up in a number of ways. This could be a signal that you are racing against yourself. Maybe you are acting you're trying to push things along to happen faster than they need to. And that's causing you extra stress, and it's really causing you to reach for things that maybe aren't right for you because you're in such a hurry to bring through that certainty, or maybe you feel like you're running out of time. Or you feel like there's not enough time for you. We probably all know examples of people who have rushed into relationships because they felt they were running out of time, and they haven't really stopped to think, is this actually the relationship I want? Equally, sometimes people can not start something they want to start because they feel like it's too late, I'm too old to start that business. So this is about your understanding of time. Is your understanding of time serving you, or is it not serving you and in fact detrimental to you? So we need to remember that the universe operates according to its own schedule. It doesn't work in a chronological sense like we do. So while you feel like you're running out of time, the universe knows that you've got enough time, that everything is unfolding at the rate it needs to. So just because things haven't happened yet doesn't mean they're not going to happen. And there isn't a time limit on growth. One thing I should mention, I was going to do this at the start, but I forgot. We have a pretty significant retrograde occurring on the 9th, which is Wednesday. And that is the planet Mars going retrograde. So Mars is the planet of motivation, of taking action, of, to an extent, leadership. It's also associated with it's also associated with passion, actually, and sex, and it's also around being a little bit angry. That's the way we think of Mars. And in some ways, what this retrograde, because a retrograde means the planet is appearing to go backwards. It's not actually going backwards, but it's slowing down, it's stirring things up. So you may find that people are a little bit snappy with you. They're more inclined to reach for a high temper response rather than a more appropriate one. Maybe you'll be doing the same. Something to think about. This lasts until November the 13th, by the way, this retrograde. Quite a long one. It's in terms of passion. If you're really passionate about something, you might find it hard to summon the passion or the energy to do things. You can't sort of skate along in high adrenaline mode as much during a Mars retrograde, depending on where it falls in your chart, of course. Yeah, you might be feeling really demotivated and reluctant to move forward, procrastination coming in. That's just how life goes sometimes, so try not to fight it too much. But notice where it might be trying to tell you something. Sometimes maybe it happens to get us to re-examine whether the things we're chasing are actually what we want, and that certainly ties in with that message. Saturn is actually the planet associated with time, but the same idea still applies. If we're rushing through life, trying to make things happen on our way, maybe we're not stopping to think, is this actually right for me? And I know the pandemic has certainly forced a lot of us to slow down in ways that we maybe didn't want to, and go, am I actually pursuing what I want, or am I just so in autopilot mode that I may have even gone off track? Tuesday, I have two cards here. It's super interesting. One is fresh air. This does exactly what it says on the label. It's exactly what you think: going outside more, spending more time outside, getting in touch with nature. Humans are not designed to be cooped up inside as much as we are. We're certainly not designed to be on our screens as much as we are, except for obviously watching my videos, which is very important. This could be metaphoric though, for some of you, if you need to bring in a fresh perspective, bring some fresh air. Are you getting too stuck in your routines, doing things? Are you trying to control things too much, doing things in a certain way? Which maybe that links back to Monday's card, instead of bringing through some fresh ideas and a fresh approach. The second card here is Daydream. So appropriate when we had the Pisces full moon last Wednesday. Pisces is the dreamer card, dreamer sign, sorry. Maybe for some of you, I always think of this as more about dreams and daydreams. If you're having really vivid dreams, this might be a call for you to look into them and see what they're trying to tell you. Remember to trust your intuition. Some dreams are just weird and they don't mean anything, but your intuition will tell you there's something here you need to know. And usually it's when you're still thinking about it for a really long time. There's something about it, and maybe you'll see something in your life that will remind you, oh yeah, I had a dream about a car like that. So notice those symbols and try and decode them, and talk to, you might like to see a spiritual coach if you need some help with that, particularly if they're repeating themes. The other thing is about your dreams, I guess your dreams in terms of your goals, those sort of dreams, the plans that you've set. Thinking about those more, expanding them a bit more. With that motivation energy starting to recede, it might be a time for you to step back and do some, sorry to sound like a corporate person, but some blue sky thinking around what it is you actually want. This is such a Piscean energy, this whole being in flow and that dreamy, artistic, creative kind of energy, rather than a right brain kind of rational kind of tick the box sort of energy, and also about connecting more deeply to your intuition as well. What is your intuition trying to tell you about what's going on here? We'll go to Wednesday now. Oh, wrong card deck. Let me switch. Sometimes it's just a feeling that I've picked up the wrong deck, and that one's not working. Wednesday, the 9th of September. This feels better. I wish you'd seen that. It did a real somersault out of the deck. Release all anger. Again, quite Piscean, the sign of letting go. Now, this doesn't have to be anger. Sometimes it can be about releasing more generally. What is it that you might be holding on to? What sort of emotion that is keeping you stuck? Are you still resentful towards someone for something they did? And what can you do to move out of that? It's a difficult one because sometimes we actually do need to hold on to things so we can process them, and instead of trying to reach too quickly for moving on, sometimes we need to actually sit with and think about, why is this person bothering me so much? Who does this remind me of? Where has this pattern happened before? All that sort of stuff, and really go and sit with the emotions rather than reaching for that. I need to be over this. So don't jump too quickly into the releasing stuff, but we need to learn the lesson before we can release, but definitely work towards the letting go, because if we haven't let go, it's still in our energy and it will hold us back. If it's, resentment is the most common way this comes up, but it could be other things that you maybe need to release. It could be some sort of attachment you have, some ideas that you have, going back to that fresh air idea. Maybe it's you're holding on to control too much, instead of releasing and surrendering to the way the universe is actually guiding you to go with this particular situation. Let's go to Thursday. Shuffling, not really getting anything jumping out straight away. Got it. Light. My light radiates through my life and the world around me. So the contrast of dark and light is a really interesting one in spirituality, because so much of spirituality, if you look at Instagram, will go for the light. The light is all about the positive, be positive, all that sort of stuff. But the spirituality that resonates most for me is having a balance of the two. We do need to be able to sit in the darkness, like I said before, to sit with the difficult emotions, to decode what they're trying to tell us. We often don't do the learnings we need to do when we're all in the good stuff. So this is very much talking about the light and the love, and asking you, so maybe this would be asking you to try and hold more space for possibility than you do have for your fears. Not to dismiss your fears at all, but bringing yourself back into that lighter perspective. It could also be about lightening up, like I said with that fresh air thing, surrendering a bit more control, being lighthearted in your approach. Say if we're talking dating, having some fun and flirting rather than going into a date with like it's a job interview for your future partner. yeah, just lightening up and lessening the intensity that you are bringing to situations. Yeah, if you are stuck in that darker stuff, that definitely has a role to play. It has something to teach you, but we do need to be able to balance that with what is the lighter here. Sometimes the lighter is just understanding, this is what I need to know here, and this is my way out when the time is right. So I'm on to Friday here. Am I? Yeah. I think what day it is. Heal Away Addictions. I don't like the name of this card because it makes people think of substance abuse, which it may be for some of you, but it's more about dependency. What are you depending on? Are you depending on other people to make decisions for you? Are you depending on the universe to bring things through for you instead of chasing them yourself? Sometimes that can happen. Are you holding on to behaviors that are keeping you stuck, or holding on to patterns or habits that don't serve you anymore? There's lots of ways this could show up. It could be anything from, are you drinking too much caffeine at a very, I guess, practical level, right through to, are you in a relationship which is codependent? So there's a lot to think about there, and no easy answers, I'm afraid. But sometimes just asking the question is a pretty good start before we can understand what it is we need to know. And then the healing begins. And often we need a bit of help with that, such as an energy healer. I would say that, wouldn't I? So Saturday, Angel Therapy. This card is really about getting the universe to help you with what you're struggling with. It's so ironic that my life, so much of my life is all around working with spirit to co-create what I want. And yet when I'm really stressed, in a really bad place, that is the thing I forget to ask for help with. It's so easy to be all like trusting of the universe and happy with the universe when things are going well. But when the chips are down, you've got a recession, work is drying up, it's a lot harder. And that is the time, unfortunately, when we need spirituality the most. And it's very easy to move away from that and think, oh, I don't have time for this right now. I'm too busy worrying about all the stuff that I've got to solve. So really remembering that the angels cannot help you unless you ask for help. That's number one. They also can't help you if you're blocking yourself off from help. You are asking for help, but every time someone asks to help you, you're saying, no, I've got this. Remembering that the universe works through other people. They also can't help you if you don't really know what you want or what you need, and that's okay if you're in that position. I think we're not always going to have absolute clarity around that. Sometimes we are not open to the answers when the universe tries to tell us what we need to be working on, like, I don't know, releasing resentment. So we need to be open to things showing up in ways that we didn't expect. We need to be open to things showing up at all. Sometimes people don't feel like they deserve help, so they either don't ask for it or they aren't willing to accept it. But we also need to work on what is keeping us stuck here. Is it that we don't know what to do to get ourselves out of this? And maybe that's where the self-reflection and the learning needs to start. So moving on to Sunday now. More generally, that card is about deepening your relationship with the divine, which is what we're all here to do. Not everybody knows it, of course, but if you're watching my videos, you probably do, whatever that means to you. Yeah, there's no one path. So shuffling the cards for Sunday, and the card that has come up here is Hathor, which is an Egyptian goddess associated with receptivity in this context. So what I said before about not being open to receiving applies here too. I love it how I foreshadow myself sometimes. It's like the cards are connected or something, I don't know. Yeah, if you're blocking yourself off from receiving, that's huge. A lot of people feel they've been socially conditioned perhaps towards self-sacrifice. You know, we praise, Glennon Doyle talks about this a lot, we praise people for being selfless, as if that's a compliment, that they've abandoned themselves. That's not actually a good thing, that's a problem. So if you are running around looking after everybody else and abandoning yourself, there will be no medals issued to you. I'm very sorry, I know society teaches us there will be some sort of, I don't know, victory parade. That's just not how it works. That's not it's not what makes for a fulfilling life. It more makes for a life of resentment and dissatisfaction. So we do need to be making time for the things that are important to us, our own self-development, our own self-care, and making sure we're willing to give that to ourselves first of all, but we're also willing to accept help from other people when we need it, and not trying to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. So looking at this week, that idea of receptivity I think is a pretty strong theme. I've got these way out of order, never mind. The idea of this idea of not trying to force things to happen, noticing we're attachment. Let me just go with that to simplify it. Attachment to how we want things to be when they need to happen instead of being in flow. Attachment to our way of doing things with this fresh air coming through. Maybe attachment to anger and past hurts and wounds that we need to deal with. Hopefully some of that has been helpful to you. As you will notice, sometimes I can be quite vague. I'm trying to make this so that anybody can watch this, no matter what age, life stage, nation they live in, and pick out what it is that applies to them, what speaks to them, and use their own intuition to filter that and apply it. So that means I can't be super specific all the time. If you are looking for something super specific, please do book in for a personal angel card reading. No matter where you are in the world, I can do that for you via Zoom. And the best way to do that is going to my website. Tons of information on there about the way I work, www.onegroundedangel.com, or you can email me onegroundedangel@gmail.com. And don't forget as well, these are all on my social media each day at One Grounded Angel. That's my handle. Come join the community. Some really cool comments that people leave sometimes, which is sometimes a lot of fun for me to read, more than the actual seeing how many people are actually resonating with it. And I love it when people join in and help each other as well and support each other. So thanks for watching. Have a terrific week, and let's hope this retrograde goes okay. All considered, we can do this. Take care.